As Hans Olsen has moved on to the corporate world, we're looking for the next great Utah sports radio talent.
There's something for everyone.
While we do that, you get stuck with this guy.
Hey, everybody, here's our star.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's get it, folks. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am for this show because this guy has given me so much grief for bad questions for so many years. And now he's on the other side. Joining us now, former Utah State head coach, former Texas Tech head coach, was the OC at Kansas State last year. It is Matt Wells. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How's it going, man?
You ready for 3 hours of this nonsense?
I came to the dark side.
Yeah, you did. You did. How's life?
It's good, man.
Yeah?
Blessed. Thank you.
Well, you got a daughter that's working up at the University of Utah.
Yeah.
And so you're in town to say hi.
Yeah, hanging out with her for a couple days here on Valentine's weekend and going to the meet tonight. Utes versus the Cougs. So she is a sophomore at Utah, loving it, really active in her sorority. And so she's like a student coach
Nice.
for the gymnastics team and doing her thing. And so proud of her. And we actually drove up, Jen and I drove up and watched them play or compete or what do you say?
I compete, I guess.
Compete.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Ames a few weeks ago. So this will be my second Red
Nice.
Rock gymnastics.
So are you figuring out the whole gymnastics world?
Yeah. And so Jaden and Ella, both our daughters, were competitive gymnasts in Logan and in Lubbock. And they both got to like level 9, level 10. I know you don't know this.
No.
You're a
but-
guy dad,
yeah,
boy dad.
Yeah.
Level 10 is like a college recruit. So they were both really close. Ella was really close in Texas, and then she got a stress fracture in her back. So had to retire, and so just loves it and loves helping out. And, you know,
She's got those coaching genes in her.
Coach's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. She crushes it. She's doing good, and they treat her great. Carly's awesome. All those girls are, and what a great team for her to be a part of. I mean, obviously, they're national competitive every year.
All right, so Coach Wells and I go way back. You and I were actually in college about the same time at Utah State when you were playing, and then covered you forever, then started doing games in 2017. Saw some really fun games in 2018.
Yeah.
We've been through it a little bit, man.
We have. We go way back. Aggie. What do we say? Aggie Brotherhood?
Aggie Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, those were some good days in Logan, and I miss Logan.
Yeah.
I miss Utah State. That's my school. Always has been. Always will be. You know, in this coaching life that I'm living and moving around a little bit, none of my kids were born in Logan, but they would all tell you they're from Logan.
Yeah.
Spent 8 years there total, and then, like you said previously, I had 5 as a student athlete there. So 13 years of my life in Logan, and just love it. The people make that place, and Cache Valley is awesome, and always be an Aggie.
So before we get going here on the show, there is a infamous moment that happened on this radio station that involved you in a weird way. And I know I'm surprising you with this.
I got no idea where
you're
you're going.
He has no idea. Lloyd and I were talking this morning, and you got to get the soundbite because we play this all the time.
Oh, jeez.
But it's actually – so we have an engineer that does our Utah State games and our coaches' shows. His name's Ajay. You know
I know Ajay.
Yeah, Ajay's a great guy. Great guy. Works hard. He will do anything.
Is he still doing
for you.
women's basketball?
He is doing women's basketball.
Little nugget there.
I was thinking about this morning. I usually do about 24 coaches shows a year. Football, 12 for football, 12 for basketball. So this is my 9th year. So it's well over 200 shows. There's only been one time that I've been late for a show. There was a massive traffic accident, and I'm driving from Salt Lake all the time. Huge accident just north of Ogden, and I got stuck on the road forever. So Ajay has to start the show because it's got to start at a specific time. And so I call Ajay. I'm like, and you were coming off, I think you were playing an FCS opponent. It was that 2018 year where you were scoring.
Tennessee Tech. That's
it. Yep.
Okay.
And so you're just wrecking dudes right and left. And so I'm like, Ajay.
I wish we still had them on the schedule.
I know, right?
Sorry, I shouldn't have said. Are we on the air?
Yeah, and we're back. So I told Ajay, I'm like, Ajay, I'm going to be there about 5 minutes late. Just get the show going. I'll get there. I will start the show. Or you start the show. I will come in really quickly. And, look, just recap the game. That's all you got to do. Just recap the game, recap the moment. And, this is what he asked you right out of the gate.
What about punting? I mean, how in punting, how is there – we just see the guy kick the ball. What details go into punting in situational football?
I don't even know where we're at. We're talking about punting. Let's go on to something else.
And we have given Ajay so much grief about that. And I don't think you even punted in that game.
Bro, I know we didn't.
Yeah.
We were at Cafe Sabor. I remember this now. You did catch me off guard with this, and I do remember that moment. Was that his debut?
Oh, yeah.
My man's come a long way since then. He was a little nervous on that question. Nervous. I could hear that in his voice. Yeah, I don't think – did we punt that night?
No, you did not. You scored like 68 points or 70 or something.
The hardest decision I had that night is Jordan Love and the number one offense going to go out for the first series of the third quarter or not?
That was the toughest decision.
Yeah, and I'm not – I mean, that night it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish you had more games like that sometimes, but –
people don't forget about Jordan. Like, you had to pull the reins back in a lot of games that year.
Well, that's what's crazy is I remember at the end of that year talking to an NFL guy, and I said, hey, and he went through the stats, and we were talking, and I said, do you realize that there are probably, and I don't remember now.
It's almost like 2 full games.
I was going to say 4 games, 3 to 4 games where he did not play the fourth quarter and parts of the third quarter, and I think we figured up it was maybe only 10 games worth, or 10, whatever, games of quarters, 40 quarters worth of Jordan playing, and his stats were still what they were, which is pretty amazing. Obviously, his sophomore year went on an amazing run, and, I mean, he had a ton of really good guys around him, too.
That team was loaded.
Yeah.
What about punting?
Hey, I would say this.
Ajay, by the way, you should bring up the wind breakdown. Come on, Scotty, why are you stopping there? His breakdown of the weather.
All right, here's another. You remember more than anybody. We had this wireless mic, and we could never get the thing to work, and it was always a mess trying to get this wireless mic to work, to the point where I just got rid of it and we got some new gear. So I'd always do that walk-off with you at halftime.
Right.
And then we'd use it for post-game. Well, we were having issues with it. Ajay goes down on the field. We have no way to test it and to make sure it's working unless somebody's live on the air. So I thought, okay, the wind was picking up in the game. It was that back-and-forth game against Air Force.
Okay.
And so I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to go, Ajay, I'm just going to – the wind's kind of picking up. I'm going to throw down to you. You give me kind of a weather report of what's going on, the conditions down there. We can actually make that a newsworthy bit, and then we can test the mic out and see if it works. And he got on my nerves a little bit, and it got a little sideways. They're running a promotion, and a young lady was down on the field, and her hair was whipping around a little bit. You wonder if the wind is starting to kick in a little bit. Ajay, if you're down on the field, do we have much of a wind at all down there on the field?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of getting cold over here. I'm kind of glad I wore a long sleeve on this field.
Nobody cares about that, Ajay. We want to know about the wind.
Okay, well, wind's blowing east, and there is definitely a wind.
All right, thank you for that. All right, Ajay down on the side, 2:46 left to go here in the second quarter.
Hey, I don't want Ajay to get cold down there, Scott. Maybe we could have him do some wind sprints or something to warm him up.
40-yard dash?
Yes. That 5.7 speed.
Ajay, see that? Yeah, that on-off button. Let's turn that off, shall we? 2:46.
Kevin from the top rope.
Yeah. That little on-off switch. Let's move that off. Let's turn that off. Oh yeah. So good times back in the day.
Wait, bro. Like, were we at home that night?
Yeah.
The wind doesn't come from the east.
I know, right?
And not in Logan?
No, never in Logan.
Come on, man. This is funny.
See? And you think we get paid for this, too.
Hey, I bet Lloyd's got some sound bites of me on some of those Monday morning conversations.
I remember you, PK said something to you, and you came at him pretty good. I think it was something about Daryl Garrettson, and that's not the guy you want. You're like, that's our quarterback. Let's go.
Yeah, well, I'm going to defend my players. I like PK.
Yeah, no, PK's the best.
No, he's a stud. I'm going to take. Those are my guys, man.
Yeah,
ain't none of us perfect, but come on now.
You had a season where you had 4 quarterbacks who had started 4 different bowl games, and they were all 4 on your roster. I mean, you had a knack for finding those quarterbacks.
Those first couple years, 13 and 14, actually 15 too, because Chucky got hurt that year too. We started quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, I know 13 and 14. That's what was cool about those 2 years. I mean, I know the offensive numbers were good. They weren't phenomenal, but we were going through 3 and 4 quarterbacks. What a stretch we had on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, those two, Todd Orlando was the D coordinator those 2 years, and, man, we had some dudes. I mean, the Vigil brothers, Fackrell, A.J. Patali'i, Brian Sweet, Frankie Cetera, who's kicking freaking butt, coaching high school here in the area. Nevin Lawson. And, I mean, there's guys I'm not even I'm forgetting.
Will Davis.
How good was Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jalen Davis was a young freshman on that 2014 team, started as a true freshman. Not so good, if you I remember. Well, you weren't doing the radio then in 2014, but like his first series of his career was in Knoxville. Stuck his nose inside on a little bubble screen and got pinned, and that thing went down the sidelines. Not so fast, but I mean, the guy's still playing for the Bengals.
Yeah, still earning a paycheck.
I'm so proud of him. I mean, what a phenomenal career, and ended up making All-American. And I think 2017 was his last year.
The evolution of the in-state player.
Yeah.
And I know we'll get to Jazz here in a bit, but I just love talking ball with Coach. The evolution of the high school athlete from where you started coaching, is back here in Utah, 2009, 2010, around there. 11. Mm-hmm. To where it is now. I mean, we got everybody coming from all over the country trying to poach in this state.
Utah high school football, when I was here from 2011 to 2018, I thought was so underrated. You've got 3 Division I schools in the state, Utah, BYU, and us. Some FCS, junior college. But with the 3 Division I schools, there were roughly, I don't know, give or take, there was low to mid-30s of a Division I kid. I'm not sure what it is now, but, we would get our fair share. The thing is there's really good high school coaching in this area, in this state. These kids are tough. They're blue collar. They're smart. They love football. Just I think of the kids that came to us at Utah State from, if I started naming names, I'm going to leave them out. From, I think, a DJ Tialavea to Tani Fisilau to the Wimpies to the Vigil brothers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Carson Terrell down at Lehigh.
Carson Terrell was a really good get. Like you think of Dax Raymond,
yeah,
and how Dax recruited Carson. And I'll never forget Carson's mom saying, "Why is Dax want him here so bad?" Because I remember Carson could have gone to the Y and UCLA, if I'm not mistaken, and that was who we beat on him. And I said, because really good players need really good players behind them, because that's going to help Dax stay healthier. We're going to play them both, but he's going to give Dax a break, and really just how the reps accumulate during the football season, practice mainly. And obviously Carson played as really young, and then Dax got a chance to go play for the Steelers and in the league for a minute. And, man, I'm just thinking of all these guys that were in-state guys. I know I'm leaving some out. But we had some really good Utah high school players, and I think that we were a developmental program, and we wanted to be really strong and physical, and we wanted to build that program at Utah State from the front 7 on both sides of the ball out. And this state is a front 7 on both sides of the ball. I mean, you're going to have O-line, D-line, and linebackers and tight ends all over the place in this state. Really well coached, great kids, great families. And now, to your point now, I think the nation knows.
Yeah.
And obviously with Utah being in the Big 12 and BYU as well, doesn't that sound weird?
I know, right?
I know.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that.
But like even, the Pac-12 schools or the old Pac-12 schools, which are now the Big 10 schools coming into Salt Lake, I mean, the secret's out. And I know Utah and BYU are battling some big-name brands every year for some of the top players in this state.
It just, it used to be our little secret here for a while. And then I remember Stanford started to dip their toe in the water, and then all of a sudden the floodgates broke open, and then it's like, okay, everybody's here now.
Well, that becomes the problem in recruiting. So in spring, like I know at the end of my tenure at Utah State, the secret started kind of getting out. And so these big-time prospects that are national kids don't just have Utah and BYU anymore. They have UW, and they have Oregon, they have SC, and then here comes some other schools. Obviously, with Kyle going to Michigan, I mean, those boys are going to be in here, right? But what happens is those schools send the assistants in here for a day or 2 days, and they see the top kids, and then what happens, And I used to get pissed at Utah State about this because they would spend the rest of the day going out and checking this kid out, checking that kid out. And then you're like, oh, man, we got more traffic on this kid than we should have because they feel like they need to do a better job of thoroughly recruiting this state. And now that secret is not just the top-end kids, it's 30 kids.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, man, we're on some battles now.
How often because you guys were known for developing athletes so well and finding those diamonds in the rough and projecting a kid who was maybe a offensive or a quarterback and you're going to throw him on as a D end or something like that. You know, you could mix and match and find ways to get guys out on the field. How often did you find out when you offered, then all of a sudden he would have Trano offers coming behind it?
Yeah, well, without agreeing with you and sound like we're patting ourselves on the back, like you did see that. I think we were a little slower to evaluate and trying to be thorough in that process, but we started having so much success with one-offer guys. So think of when I say one offer, I'm going to say it in a Division I sense, a group of 5 or higher. I mean, from Jalen Davis was one offer. Jordan Love was one offer, like Division I. Kyler Fackrell, okay? Nick Vigil. Zach came as a walk-on initially.
Yeah, Zach had to walk on it. It was going to walk on at Weber until you stole a coordinator there.
And exactly.
Borrowed a coordinator.
Borrowed. Yeah. And then Zach's the 2014 Mountain West Defense Player of the Year. You know what? I mean, those two guys, those boys epitomized everything for us. But I think those one-offer guys, we had so much success on those guys. I think people took notice. And, that just obviously that made hard recruiting, landing them a little harder, not the evaluation process.
It feels like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you're knee-deep in recruiting and you know what it's like, it feels like in this day and age with the transfer portal that the high school kids are getting the raw end of this thing.
They are, and that's not that's reality. That's not I don't know what the right word is. That's not a doesn't matter. You're correct.
Yeah.
It's not an opinion. I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Because the portal, it looks so inviting, and you maybe have a little bit more evidence sometimes on college video in terms of an evaluation versus a high school huddle tape. But I think the trickle down is unfortunate because I don't think it's in a certain part of the country. I think it's all over the country that the high school signees in terms of Power 4 for sure. And then I would say Group of 5-2 are down a little bit. I don't know the number, but they are down. And so I think you're seeing some FCS schools get some players initially maybe a little bit better quality than they're used to getting.
So does that so G5 is probably getting better high school player, or G4 is probably getting better high school players.
Right, and then you're going to
but then you're going to lose them.
That's that's the thing that's making it tough for those Group of 5 schools. And so I think inevitably you just got to know that attrition is going to happen now. It's even happening at the Power 4 level.
Mm-hmm.
I just know at Kansas State last year, some of our best players had to turn down double and a couple of them triple the amount of money they were making at a Big 12 school, to another league and another school to stay. And, one or two of them didn't. And I think everybody just understands that there will be some attrition. And so you're always looking and keeping that board fresh.
Does it affect how you coach a kid? Because you want to stay on his good side to a certain extent because if this kid doesn't get snaps or he doesn't get opportunities, boom, he's gone.
To answer that directly, I don't think it changes how you coach, well, at least for me, how you coach a kid. I do think, though, that thought comes into your mind in terms of how many reps that kid get or opportunities that gets. Now, quarterback is its own little entity, right? But you're talking about a freshman receiver or freshman running back that you had to pay in the portal or you had to pay out of high school that is a certain financial level in that room. I mean, he's not going to be the 5th running back if he's the 3rd highest paid running back.
Yeah.
He's going to get some carries early in the year. You're going to find out. And so I think it maybe changes that evaluation in terms of how you're playing them.
Do you let I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this, the foxes in the hen house a little bit when you have a lot of boosters and a lot of people that they already donated at a high level. Now they're donating at an even higher level to try to keep kids around and to go in the NIL fund. I mean, it's always hard to keep those guys at bay, but does that take another step up?
It does, and I think the voice is now something different.
Yeah.
Now, it's not directed only at you as a coach or the final outcome, because I think boosters that invest in your program, A, are friends of the program, and B, have a vested interest in it, but it's no different than business. When you have a vested interest in something financially, you want to see it succeed. And so I think that that's certainly now another aspect of the portal and NIL and rev share in terms of how much they contribute and listening to whether they're happy or not.
Yeah.
And that is so outcome based.
Yeah.
It's results based, and we know that. In college basketball and in football are such in a so much more, I think, now in a pressurized, scoreboard based, results based business. And it's what have you done for me lately, even more because of the money.
More with Matt Wells right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Believe it or not, this guy actually has friends.
Nice.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The great Tim LaComb is going to join us, longtime assistant coach here in the state of Utah, as well as host of our Jazz pre-half and post-game shows. Matt Wells, kind enough to hang out with us. You had the perfect analogy for Lloyd, by the way. I thought this was spot on who Lloyd is.
Well, I walk in here for all the people listening. I thought I was going to get to meet Lloyd for the first time ever in here today. I mean, all those years in Logan of just calling in every Monday morning, right, and talking to him. He's like, hang on, I got Hans and Scotty waiting on you, and I'd shoot the bull with him. And now I'm like, oh, I get to come on Scotty G's show. This is a cool thing. I'm going to get to meet Lloyd, and I walk in and no Lloyd. So I was like, this is kind of like Home Improvement. Like, he's like Wilson. Like, all you see is those eyes. You don't even know who he is. Except his voice.
Oh, yeah, he's got that voice of Zeus over there.
Yeah.
Hey, joining us now, Tim LaComb, kind enough to join us. Scott Gerard alongside Matt Wells. Coach, how are you?
What's going on, fellas? What's up, Coach?
Hey, how are you, Coach?
Doing good, man. You could move that football, my friend. Impressive. Impressive.
Thanks. You must have watched the correct game.
Hey. See, I was a coach too. I just watched the wins, bro. And at this point, I'm 6 years out. Everything was just absolutely, golden. Never a dull moment. Never a bad moment.
There you go.
No, and you're part of that Jimmer freight train, and you've got the big celebration coming up this weekend. I got to imagine it'll be fun to see some old faces.
Oh, I'm so excited. I talked to Coach Dave Rice this morning, and talked to Coach Rose the other night, and Jimmer for a second today. So, yeah, everybody's going to be back, and it's a big dinner tonight, and then the banner's coming down. I also talked to the entire coaching staff this morning at University of Colorado in their team meeting because they're coming in tonight, and they're all good buddies, and I'm going to go hang with them. But they're like, are they really retiring Jimmer's number this weekend? I was like, yes, they are. And they said, they got AJ. Just make sure he doesn't get in, too, because we're already a mess.
Oh, he's a good player.
Yeah, he's not bad, is he?
I saw him the other night against Baylor. I was watching.
That dude can fill it up in a hurry. Hey, I wanted to talk Jazz a little bit with you because the Jazz are under the spotlight a little bit for doing what has been done by every team in the league at some point over the last 50 years of the NBA. Why is all of a sudden the Jazz in the spotlight here?
I really don't know. I think it probably has something to do, David Locke was saying last night, has something to do with perhaps with the fact that he's got to make a statement about it in a couple of days. So, the closest one gets the penalty, but I get, it's hard for me. I've been watching this, as you know, Scotty, for 6 years, doing pre and post, and the number of teams that have rolled through with no intention to win through all those years, Oklahoma City, for a lot of years. I just think it's, it's interesting. It's ironic. But if anything else, it'll galvanize us all. I think, the us and against them has always worked, and the Jazz are coming into their own. So this could actually be something they use.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Tim LaComb, kind enough to join us. So, what is your early impressions of watching Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen out on the court together? When you had that sample size, what did you take away from that?
Well, the numbers would say it was a pristine fit. A team that's really struggled to protect the rim, and the team that's really struggled just basically defensively all the way around. For 3 games, really tightened up defensively, and I think you can add, a better defensive player and see the results instantly. I think it gave everybody a little bit of a spark too, having him here. It changed the doldrums of February to something totally different. And then, offensively, it is pretty eye-opening to see what the Jazz are going to be able to do with all the size, the length. But on top of that, the versatility. The league is about positionless offense. It's about being able to be as versatile defensively as you can to switch all that stuff. And the Jazz just, with this move, made that possible. Like, they can pick on mismatches on the offensive end, and defensively, they've got so much size that they can really impact, how a team plays on that end.
All right, so, Coach, by the way, Tim was doing color with me for the Utah State-Fresno basketball game earlier in the week. And we're watching Mason Falslev do his thing. Coach LaComb said that he was Mason's first offer in 9th grade. How about this, Timmy? Matt Wells was his football offer in 8th grade.
Wow.
We saw
the same thing.
Well, the longer that goes, he'll be 7th grade by next year. You know how this thing goes.
Well, I kind of this big.
I'm telling you, I truly, when Scotty just brought him up in the pre-show here when we were just talking, I said I think I offered him in between his 8th grade and his 9th grade year that summer, and I remember exactly when I offered him. It was right after camp, phenomenal athlete, man, and I offered him in the indoor. I just remember exactly where I was and offered him and thought this kid could play safety. I don't know if he's a receiver, but he is an athlete, and I just loved Mason and his family, and he was a Cache Valley kid, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a fight on my hands here in a few years to keep this kid in the Valley here at Utah State. And so I'm a distant or whatever, long ways away. I'm a Mason Falslev fan, and obviously I'm a Utah State fan in basketball, but, man, when I see that dude out there doing his thing, Bronco ought to take him too. The guy ought to play. Yeah. He ought to play both sports. Calhoun wouldn't like me to say that, but I think the guy could play both.
Yeah, I agree, and it was his physicality at a young age and competitiveness that really stood out to me. And everybody told me, "Don't waste your time. He's a football guy," but done pretty well for himself. And Scotty Gerard's always got something to do with it.
Yeah. Well, he's the good luck charm for the Ags.
Well, okay, so there's a lot of, I get asked a lot about the basketball team because this is my 9th year doing play-by-play, and this is my 5th basketball coach. And so everybody's like, well, it's 20 win after 20 win season. Like, what's the common denominator? I'm like, it's me.
You.
It's me. It's me. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But no, we've seen some really good basketball up there. But, you talk about competitiveness. You guys see that in Mason Falslev. Is that like, obviously talent's the number one thing, but when you're evaluating a guy, how hard is it to identify that competitiveness or that toughness when you know that they're probably already the best player on their team, and so they're going to look overly competitive when they're just dominating everybody? Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know how Coach looks at it, but I know from a football standpoint, man, evaluating these kids in other sports is crucial. I loved recruiting multi-sport athletes. And I think of Mason and watching him play basketball. Of course, that was at an early age. I'll give you a good example because Luke, my brother, who's now at Utah coaching the tight ends, Luke's like, hey, I just ran into Covey the other day. And I remember I couldn't have recruited as a head coach Britton Covey any harder to Utah State. Every time he came to, I guess it was Duryea and maybe Craig. No, maybe it wasn't Craig. Maybe it was just Tim's.
I think it was Tim, yeah.
Tim's camps. Like I was in the spectrum. I knew when his team was playing in that summer league game. Like I was there because it was on campus, right? Yeah. Those are free evals, and man, just seeing his competitiveness, you can see it on the court. He ran the show for Tempview. I mean, ran the show. Dax Raymond playing basketball. All these guys.
You pulled Carson Terrell off the wrestling mat.
Carson Terrell's a wrestler. Yeah. Carson Terrell was four-sport. He was a four-sport athlete.
You said it wrong, Scotty. Wrestler.
It's wrestler. Right. Yeah, well, I'm from Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean,
I know,
come on
but
now.
I went to high school in Texas, man. So I get it. I speak that.
But, Coach, were you always looking for those multi-sport guys?
We loved them. In fact, Jimmer was a big-time football player. Now, I need to water that down. It was a very small A school, right? Not small A, as in I meant that like.
Yeah, no, I got you.
I mean that rogue, but no. And so Coach actually went out. He said it was as cold as he ever been, Coach Rose, and wore a beanie and a big old jacket. Stood on the sideline, excuse me, in the snow, and watched Jimmer, do his thing. So yeah, dude, we loved guys that challenged themselves. And our theory was you can always slow a guy down, but it's hard to speed him up.
It's like that dog on the porch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Well, if they ain't biting when they're a pup, they ain't going to bite when they're a big dog. That just became a soundbite.
That is.
Oh,
we're going to steal that.
Oh,
no, that's a great line.
Soundbite.
So can you teach a big dog to bite, or is it in their DNA?
I think it's in their DNA.
So
DNA.
if they
Mason Fossil was biting when he was in 8th grade. Like, that dude was aggressive, competitive. So was Britton Covey.
But you probably had guys that look like they're chiseled out of granite, like a Zeus god, but they're not. They don't have the bite. And how hard is it because they've got every other aspect to them, but maybe not the anger or the determination upstairs.
That's why recruiting's not an exact science in any sport. I mean, there's an art to it. And then the other thing is not just that. It's their heart. It's their head, their heart, their guts. Those are things that are hard to measure. And like in my sport, I'm sure maybe the NBA is the same way, but like look at football, look at the NFL. I mean, they've got more money and more resources, and they get it wrong all the time because look at the 30 for 30s, right?
Yeah.
The busts and this and that, because it's hard to measure head, heart, and guts. And when you find one that has enough talent, but they've got those three aspects of those intangibles, and they're at a high level, that kid's going to be successful in sports on the hardwood or on the grass. I guess we play on turf now, or in life, in anything they do in business. And I think that's pretty consistent.
Hey, Timmy, you got some geese by you? What was that?
Yeah, I'm just I'm at a work lunch, and I walked outside, and I thought it was I was looking for Norman Hitchcock. The birds were swarming the parking lot here. Yeah. So anyway, thanks. That was just nature sounds by me.
I love it, man.
Hey,
I'll let you go.
Being on. That was so good, Wellesley. Thanks, and good luck with everything you got going, my guy.
Thank you, Coach.
There he is, Tim LaComb, longtime assistant coach. They're retiring. Jimmer's number coming up this weekend down at BYU, so obviously that place is going to be hopping. You probably don't want to be the opposing team walking into that firestorm. But I remember there was a night where they were honoring Jim McMahon, and I think you were playing down there in Provo, and that may have gone your way.
That was a good night for the Aggies. Not that I remember. I do.
But you do.
No, Colorado's coming in, right? That's what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas Tech got after them the other day.
Oh, I know. And their coach came out and who I love their coach, and his first comments was, "Well, that was an old-fashioned ass whooping."
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, well, it was. All right, what you may have missed coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. That's Matt Wells, longtime Utah State coach, Texas Tech coach, Kansas State offensive coordinator last year. We'll continue to talk to him, break it down next. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, all right. So, Coach was asked during the break. Lloyd always likes to cater the music and lets guests come up with a playlist. And he said, "What song do you want to hear?" You're like, "I want to hear the fight song."
Yeah.
Now we could also play the University of Utah fight song because your daughter's got it going tonight with the Red Rocks.
Well, what do they say? Blood's
thicker than water. Yeah.
Blood's thicker than water. So, full disclosure, the Utah people can hear me say this as well as the Utah State. I have yet to wear something Utah but you can see I've got red and black on.
Yep.
I'm a supporter to the hilt. Now, Jen wears Utah gymnastics everything, and at some point I probably will because of her.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy for her and proud of her. So I'm still a dad.
Yeah.
Still a dad at heart. So I've got a black and red shirt on here.
I put you in a really bad spot a few years ago when I brought you on when Utah State was playing Texas Tech in the NCAA tournament, and you were the coach at Texas Tech at the time.
I know, I remember.
And you're like, I know I have to say this, but I'm employed by Texas Tech, so
I was in
get the guns up. I guess
it's either a no-win or I was in a win-win, whichever way you want to look at it. But you know what's crazy? So I don't know if you remember. You remember where the game was? Remember where they played?
It's in Bloomington.
At IU.
Yeah.
In COVID.
Yeah. No, there was like 300 people there.
And I think I knew 290 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew the Texas Tech people, and I knew the Utah State people. And I would say maybe outside of the players' families, I knew the administrators on both sides and then boosters on both sides. And deep down inside, you already know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That was the Mac McClung team.
Yeah.
Man, it was a solid team.
Yeah. And which was another little, because he was connected to Smith.
Oh, yeah.
To Chris.
Chris Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was playing for Beard.
Yeah.
At Tech. So,
Yeah. Boy, he got people riled up a little bit down there when he took that Texas job.
Bro. I can't say bro to you.
You can say bro. Absolutely you can.
My man Beard. I knew. I mean, I don't think it was a secret to the people that really knew Coach, but that's near and dear to his heart. That's where he was and was a student, and as a student coach for Coach Penders there for a long time, and so I wasn't surprised he took that job because I knew how much it meant to him. But yeah, Lubbock and Texas Tech, and rightfully so, they weren't real happy when he took that job.
Yeah.
And they weren't real happy when he came back.
Yeah. No, I remember that one. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah.